You know, the Taj Gibson thing. Outside of that, nothing really else happened big yesterday. No big, blockbuster deal went down. In particular, the two big names that were talked about before the draft or before the trade deadline were Jimmy Butler and Paul George. And so both of those guys stay home with their respective organizations. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me jump in the chat room on Spreaker.com. From Uncle Mike, Drew's baby brother is balling at UCLA, too. Talking about Drew Holiday. From Andre Elon, Brother Dell X, I can respect that, sir. Dell, welcome back to the chat room, sir. From Al Thompson in the chat room on Spreaker.com, Toronto and Washington improved. Boston, not so much. Very interesting that Boston didn't pull the trigger on a deal. And, what we had heard about was Jimmy Butler or Paul George. They were kind of getting into the Paul George sweepstakes as well, and it didn't happen. Very interesting. They seem like that they're right on the cusp of really contending in the East. Not that they would beat Cleveland in a 7-game series, but it seems like that they're right there with the great play, once again, of Isaiah Thomas. They're only 3.5 games out of first place. And the way that they played this year, they played fantastic this year. It seemed like they would make a deal. As a matter of fact, I think I even said yesterday I thought they were going to make a deal. But if you look at their squad, man, on paper they got a nice squad, up and down team, and Avery Bradley and Isaiah Thomas, man, playing fantastic basketball. I thought they would have made a deal for one of those two guys, but they did not. From Woe D50 Day, Drew Stillball, talking about Drew Holiday. From Denise Milk and Cookies. Hey, Denise Milk and Cookies. She says, Doug, I enjoyed all of your Chop It Up shows. Waiting for the next one. Got a real good one that really applies. It pertains to something I've been talking about and an area of discussion I've been talking about on the show coming up for the next Chop It Up. We're set to tape it very soon here. But thank you so much for that, Denise. I'm telling you, Chop It Up is good. Up close and personal. Like, Chop It Up is my version of Roy Firestone's Up Close and Personal. I think that was the name of the show on ESPN back in the day. Big fan of that show. When I was growing up, we'd come home from school. I had to have been in middle school at the time because I wasn't staying after school for football practice or nothing like that. So I come home from school, and Roy Firestone, is he still alive? The great Roy Firestone's got to still be alive. And Roy Firestone had this show called Up Close and Personal. I think it was Up Close and Personal. So I appreciate that, Denise. You should check out episodes of Chop It Up, man. The latest episode with Uncle Donnie, very revealing. Okay, very interesting because he's an old school player from the Himalayas, but very interesting talk and conversation about me and my brother when we were growing up. You definitely would want to hear this, man. From in the chat room on Spreaker.com from Corey, they traded Lou to give him a chance to win, which is good. He wasn't going to win in L.A. If that's the case, that's good stuff. Lou Williams, a veteran in the NBA from Atlanta, straight from high school to the NBA when that was okay. Long career, man. He can score. He's a scorer. From Corey, not Corey, from RC, agreed 100% on Bird, but I despise him. Loved it when Dr. J hit him with that three-piece. Not only did Dr. J hit him with that three-piece fist sandwich, Dr. J almost choked the living life out of Larry Bird. It's crazy how you have respect for cats that you hated so much back in the day. Like, I got a Larry Bird throwback jersey. I despise Larry Bird. The only person that I hated more than Larry Bird back in the day was his teammate Danny Ainge. That's the only person that I hated more than Larry Bird was Danny Ainge. And it's crazy because Danny Ainge really wasn't that level of a player that we should even give a rat's ass about. But there was something about Danny Ainge that I and a lot of people absolutely hated. But, man, over the years, and you hear the stories like the story I just talked about, Mikhail told about Bird back in the day with the whole muscles thing. You hear the story about Larry Bird and the three-point shooting contest at the All-Star game. Just told everybody, like, listen, y'all playing for second place today, Jack. Now, that may have led his attitude and his personality and joking and talking trash may have led to him getting his ass kicked by the doc. Right. That may have led to Dr. J whooping his ass, okay, on that fateful Sunday afternoon, Celtics and 76ers. But, 25 years after the fact, man, when I reminisce and think about Larry Bird, man, you talk about clutch. There may not have been a more clutch player. Like, it seemed like Larry Bird, every time that he took a last-second shot, he made it. It seemed like Larry Bird was the most clutch player that I've ever seen in my life. Kobe Bryant clutch as far as a lot of last-second shots that I can remember making for one of the top players ever in the game. But Larry Bird just seemed to hit an inordinate amount of last-second shots, dagger shots throughout his career, man. Fantastic player. From Big John B in the chat room on Spreaker.com, most hated white NBA player of all time, Danny Ferry. Whoa. He's definitely high up there on the list. Nah. I think if we did a poll, we could easily do a poll on this, just like we're doing on the poll for the Ball Penis Award. I think if we did a poll, I think it would be Ainge. And once again, I can't explain why. It was something about Ainge's personality, the expressions on his face, the dirty little stuff he used to do in the game. He used to hold, he used to grab a lot because he was so unathletic. He couldn't really hold nobody. And so it was something about Ainge's persona that everybody I knew absolutely hated. I think that if you put a poll up, the top 5 most hated white NBA players of all time, I think that list would include, I don't know, Danny Ferry, Christian Laettner. We'd put Larry Bird on there as well. But Larry Bird was a phenomenal player, so that's just hate. Danny Ainge would go on that list, and maybe you throw somebody else on there like, I don't know, freaking Wally Zerbiak. I don't know. Oh! My man Uncle Mike reminds us. Yeah, the only other names you could put in there, let's scratch Wally Zerbiak out, and let's put in Bill Laimbeer. Yeah, Laimbeer wins all day long. Yeah, I forgot about Bill Laimbeer. Yeah, I forgot about Laimbeer. So Laimbeer would probably be 1. Ainge would probably be 2. Ferry might be 3. Laettner might be 4. And because everybody know Bird was a real player, Bird would probably be last on that list. That's the top 5 most hated white guys in the NBA ever. Right there on the spot. Oh, boy. I mean, you know how somebody can make your blood boil just the sight of them? Oh, you remember when, y'all remember when Robert Horry threw that towel in Danny Ainge's face? Was it Danny Ainge? Who was it? Was it Danny Ainge, or am I thinking about somebody else? No, he didn't throw the towel in Danny Ainge's face. Maybe I just wanted it to be Danny Ainge. Or it might have been Danny Ainge. Let me see. Robert Horry, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Robert Horry throws towel in face of, or into face of, let's see, Robert Horry Towelgate. Robert Horry, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This is 1997. No, they're not showing it here. I apologize for this. This is bad radio. I know I apologize for this, but I have to do this every once in a while. It was Danny Ainge. That's right. I was right. Right. Oh, man, one of the greatest days of my life. January 1997. Phoenix Sun president Jerry Colangelo suspended Robert Horry for 2 games in the fourth quarter of a game against the Boston Celtics. Horry screamed obscenities at Ainge and threw a towel in his coach's face before being restrained by teammates. That was one of the greatest days of my life. Oh, yeah. Robert Horry, 5-time champion Robert Horry, threw a towel in Danny Ainge's face, his coach at the time. For the Phoenix Suns. That was great. That was fantastic. From Grego X Squad, Bill Laimbeer was the fire starter and a goon for that Bad Boys team. Dude said he did neck strengthening exercise because he got punched there so much and choked by angry players. That's funny. From Sluggo X Squad, Andrea, I saw a blurb on that earlier. I wonder if that was an NCAA infraction. Ooh, what he's talking about is, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, who was it? Jason Williams. There was a story that came out yesterday with Jason Williams, not Jason Williams white chocolate, Jason Williams center, power forward in the NBA for a long time with the New Jersey Nets. He had talked about how when he was in college at St. John's, there was this tradition of former players at St. John's that made it to the NBA that had a lot of scratch to give the players in college money. Right, which I'm sure has got to be against some type of NCAA rule or whatever. You know, it's not a team, it's not a booster, it's not an alumni, it's a former player, but I'm sure a former player of the program giving a present player money has to be against somebody's rules. But anyway, so Jason Williams told a story about how he asked Mark Jackson for some money, and Mark Jackson wouldn't give it to him because Mark Jackson was, notoriously a cheap, SOB. And he asked, and even though Oakley wasn't a former player, I don't know how the connection is with Oakley, but he asked Charles Oakley for the money, and Charles Oakley loaned him $20,000 but said, when you make it to the NBA, I want 25 back. Friggin' Charles Oakley was a loan shark. Yeah, he told Jason Williams, look here, I'm going to give you this 20,000. But when you make it to the league, I want 25 back. Dude is a freaking loan shark. Not only does he pimp slack backhand fools in the halls of team conventions, league conventions, he will do that, but he's a loan shark as well. Shouts out Ball Award to Charles Oakley. Wow. What is that? Somebody do the math. I'm not good with math. So if he gave him 20, he wants 25 back. That's 25%. That's 25%. 25% interest rate. God damn. And you best believe, if Jason Williams didn't get that man his money back, he probably would have got his legs broke, loan shark style. He would have at least got a backhand slap. Crazy. Shouts out to Charles Oakley. I don't want no trouble with Charles Oakley. When we get back from the break, man, entertainment. Don't go away.
Asian.